At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
This is Eric Brotman, the host of Don't Retire, Graduate, the podcast that asks you what you want to be when you grow up, so you can graduate into retirement with purpose and with passion. Welcome to our Diary of a Financial Advisor segment, where we interview financial advisors about their professional journey and their passion for helping others succeed. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by Akram Ibrahim. He is an OG with BFG. He has been here 12? Is it 12 years?
Yep, going on to 12
years. A dozen years as part of the BFG family. And Akram is a little different than some of the other advisors we've introduced you to in that he, in lieu of being a CFP designee and in lieu of working with clients on their financial planning, he wears a very different hat at the firm. And so, Akram, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure to be here.
Let's talk about how you joined BFG first. Then we'll get into what you do. And eventually we want to know what you want to be when you grow up. I might even tell the story about what you said at an advisory board meeting 11 years ago when you said what you wanted to be when you grow up, but I'll let you change your answer today. Talk about your journey in getting into BFG and specifically into this industry.
Yeah. So this journey is quite interesting. It happened with pure strokes of luck. I just happened to wake up one day at Stevenson, which is the college that I went to. And what happened was I woke up for a career fair that I did not intend to join. And then I happened to meet you guys there. And it's been quite the journey. It's been a journey of learning, of humility, of just being able to gather all of the knowledge that I have in order to better serve my community, the people in my culture, my mother, and those that are in my inner circle. It was purely luck. It was a stroke of luck that I am so blessed and honored to have stumbled into, and I don't regret any of it. I am very happy to be here. I've been here 12 years, as you have pointed out, Eric, and I like I said, I am truly blessed to be here.
Well, we're blessed to have you. This has been, you were an intern.
Yes.
And we've got a number of people here who started as interns. You, for the record, were a paid intern, as opposed to our partner, Yanni Niebuhr, who was an unpaid intern. And anytime I get the opportunity to throw that out there, this was the opportunity. So I took it. Talk about how your role is different than that of a typical CFP practitioner within the firm, a typical advisor who's seeing clients all day. Yeah.
So I'm the lead trader of this firm, and I wear also a research hat as well. I do a lot of the annuity research. I help in the investment committee to select the investments that we use, whether it's mutual funds, ETFs, alternatives, and things of that nature. But like I mentioned, I am the lead trader here, and that's kind of what separates me from the rest of the advisors.
So would you say you're the brains of the operation?
Yes, with as much as humility as I can, yes.
Fair enough. And being the lead trader in a firm like this is there's a lot of pressure. I mean, you're in one of those positions where a mistake can be extremely costly, and where the expectation for you is essentially perfection, which is basically the standard you rise to on a regular basis, which I'm amazed by. It's incredibly thorough. But how many transactions do you think you have to handle in a given year?
When I last looked at my year-to-date trades for 2024, I did about 3,000, a little over 3,000. So it's definitely up there.
And you're also handling the rebalancing of portfolios in both IRAs and non-IRA accounts?
That is correct.
And that is, I mean, there's thousands of accounts. So this is a pretty large responsibility. You're responsible essentially for moving around $750 plus $1 billion.
That's correct.
And that is an amazing thing. And this is the only job you've ever held, out post college. I'm sure you had some other employment experiences that were less glamorous than this one. But, in terms of where you're headed, I mean, You've done some designations that are a little different. Why don't you talk about the education that you have, because it's different than everybody else here at the firm?
Yeah, so I have my Accredited Portfolio Management Advisor designation, which I like to consider it as a CFP light, if you will, where you get to experience the insurance aspect, the investment aspect, the advisory aspect of what we do on a given day. I also have my Master's of Financial Services, which really helped me deep dive into what we do here. I do remember that I had to write a financial plan, which I thought was going to be 10 pages, but really when you start to dive into it, it became more like 20. So it really gave me a taste of what you do, Eric, and what everyone else here does with a CFP designation.
So I think we have 3 people here who hold the masters. I think Lena and I both do. I don't know if anybody else does, but that's a significant accomplishment. That takes a fair amount of time to earn, and having a master's degree in this field does separate you from the pack a little bit. Talk about why what you do is so important to you personally, and how it drives your mission, or how your mission drives your work, perhaps.
Yeah. So simply put, it allows me to serve. That is something that I'm very passionate about. Starting here, it was very interesting because I came into this field thinking, you know what, I'm going to serve myself. But as I progressed in my career here, and even in my personal life, I started to recognize that it's less about me and more about those around me, those that we serve, those that we advise, those accounts that we trade on a given day. So that's kind of why I like doing what I do and why I have pride in what I do.
Well, this is how many employees were here when you joined? 5, 6?
I think it was 8 when I started full time.
Okay, 8 people, and we're 20 now, which is kind of amazing when you think about it. And the organization has grown. And a year or so ago, 2 years ago, I guess, you became a shareholder in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was that decision like? And I'm sure it's not something you took lightly, but what was that decision like to get on this bus long term?
It was met with a lot of trials and tribulations, Eric. It was not an easy decision to make. It was a huge financial commitment that I couldn't do on my own. I had to consult my wife. I had to talk to my family. I even spoke to some friends about it. And it wasn't an easy decision, but it was a decision that needed to be made in favor of becoming an owner. And I'm happy that I did it.
Well, we're glad to have you. I mean, the shareholder meetings have grown. We now have 7 shareholders within the firm. And as somebody who is trying to sell shares and eventually graduate into my own retirement, to stay with the theme of the show, you're one of those people on the bus who's going to help me retire. So I'm glad I identified you 12 years ago, or we did, because it really does take a village. With a firm like ours, there's really only a couple of ways to do succession. One is to sell to a bigger firm or a private equity entity, which we want to avoid at all costs because we really like what we're doing and the way we're doing it differently. And the other is to do an internal transition, which, to your point, is really expensive. And so it's going to take a dozen folks or so. And so over the next 10 and 20 years, as the transition of ownership is fully completed, I expect that there'll be quite a few more folks, not only working here, but owning part of the company, and that will be fully employee owned by not the CEO in a relatively short period of time, which is exciting for me. So what's next for you? What's the next big hurdle, challenge, mountain to climb?
So the biggest thing that I'm working on right now is creating efficiencies within the firm. As you know, Eric, I created the strategic models that allow us to do global trades for our smaller accounts, because, like I said, I did 3,000 trades last year, which I feel like it's going to multiply to maybe to 4, even 5,000 trades this year. So I need to create efficiencies in that area in order to ease up on the trading so that I can focus on the other areas like the portfolio analysis, the performance reporting, and things of that nature. So right now it's creating efficiencies within the firm.
Well, you're a unique guy. And I don't mean just professionally. We talked about that, but you're a unique guy personally, and somebody we love having in the clubhouse. I have often joked that Akram is the guy who in high school would have been in the yearbook for Talks Least Says Most. He's not the loudest guy in the clubhouse, but when he speaks, everybody listens, and we respect and appreciate that very, very much. We have to ask what you want to be when you grow up, and I'm going to throw you under this bus for a second because we have a client advisory board that's been meeting since 2008. And at one point in Akram's first year here, he was at our advisory board meeting and we were introducing ourselves, and he made a comment that we all absolutely still tease him about, which was, well, someday I expect to be running an IT firm. And we all looked at him like, well, when are you resigning? What do we need to know? And I know you didn't mean it that way, but I will never stop busting your chops because it was one of the funnier things that stopped all the communication in the room instantly, which was great. So what is the plan? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to help those around me. I just want to be in a place where I can serve and use my abilities to the best that I can. Not necessarily something that I would just put on my shoulders professionally, but personally too. Just, I want to serve those that I love. I want to serve the community. I want to serve BFG financial advisors as best that I can. What I want to be when I grow up is just an expert in what I do, an expert in all the areas that I touch. I want to be able to use the anointing that has been given to me in order to better this firm, to better my family, to better my friends and my community.
That is a ambitious and heavy lift, and I know you're going to get there.
Thank you.
You're darn near there already, so I congratulate you. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show. I know this is not a place you spend a lot of time in front of a camera or a microphone, but you did great, Akram. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of you for listening and watching today. If you enjoy our show, please subscribe, leave a rating on your favorite podcast platform, and share it with your friends and family so they can join you on your journey to financial freedom. If you'd like to send us a topic or idea for us to discuss in a future episode of Don't Retire, Graduate, please post it on our Facebook page or tweet us at Brotman Planning. We'll be back next week with another engaging guest, and in 2 weeks with another entry in the diary of a financial advisor. For now, this is your host, Eric Brotman, reminding you, don't retire, graduate.
Securities offered through Kestra Investment Services, LLC, Kestra IS, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Kestra Advisory Services, LLC, Kestra AS, an affiliate of Kestra IS. Kestra IS or Kestra AS are not affiliated with Brotman Financial or any other entity discussed.
Welcome, change agents, to your go-to place for stories that ignite your spirit, fuel your purpose, and connect us all. We believe in the incredible power of the human spirit, its boundless resilience, and the inspiration it brings to our lives. On the Driving Change podcast, we'll journey together through the extraordinary yet very relatable experiences of some of the most amazing people on earth. Our mission? That through these stories, we might just spark change within you and awaken a newfound motivation to harness your unique gifts to make a real difference in the world. So get ready to be inspired and join us on this incredible adventure. You can find the Driving Change podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you love listening to your favorite podcasts.